Okay. I think I'm good. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Oh, hi.
Well, hello.
Hi. What do you say you and I talk about how we live the principles of NLP?
By Jove, that sounds like a great idea.
You could almost do it with some sort of podcast. Is that what they're calling him?
I think it's a vodcast.
That's
what real dorks call it.
Let's do a podvod about it.
A pod.
And we'll call it NLP living. No, that doesn't sound very good.
No. Neuro living programming.
What if we call it? It's alive. No, how about just good old living NLP?
NLP live.
Yeah. Or living NLP. That's us. So the way that we could do this potential podcast, podvod. I would say we could, talk about our work that we do or how we live NLP in some way. And then we could also just like maybe a quote or something that was like something that was interesting that we thought.
Oh, yeah. You go ahead and talk because I forgot to get a quote.
Oh,
no, wait. Never mind. I do have one. I forgot.
Yeah, come on. I thought you were supposed to be living NLP, bro.
I did apparently, and my unconscious did such a good job. I actually forgot that I did it.
Right. Yeah, sure.
You got to share anything?
Yeah, actually. So I just got off a call with someone very much of my niche, a high achiever type of cat, programmer, like electrical engineering dude who wants to just be performing better in his work, which is a software issue at this point. And so he's going to go have a meeting with somebody. And just as a little taste of, do you have a couple minutes? I just have to ask some questions, hopefully be of assistance to you in moving forward with your talk you have to give today. And I'm getting him to tell me about a time when he did have what he wants. Okay, if you were to go into this thing, have you ever had a meeting like this before? Yeah. What was it like? Well, I was like this. Okay. And when you're like that, you're like what kind of a thing? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're calm like water. Now, what kind of water is that? And he goes, hey, can I give you a question? Because he starts like taking notes. I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, I'm just feeling a little bit of resistance about, like what's going on? What are you trying to do here? I'm like, well, step back. I'm trying to get you access to a state that you need in a place where you want it. And I'm happy to open up the curtains and pull out the tools and show you all the boxes and teach you how to do all this. But for now, I need you to stop taking notes and let that part of you that wants to take notes and know everything, just step back and sort of check things out. It'll still be there. You'll be able to see and know and learn and do and grow. But all the other stuff, the stuff that you really need to know, the states that you want, those aren't in your conscious mind. Otherwise, you would have already done it because you're super smart. And he's like, okay. And so I'm going to need you to stop taking notes now and start feeling what I'm asking you. Oh, okay. And so went farther down the line with, okay, now when you have this state, it's like what? Oh, and then was there a time? Oh, it's like that water, like what? Oh, water like this. And it was beautiful. Water is such a metaphor.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be reflective and reactive.
Ooh.
To whatever it comes, like it's a boulder or a pebble.
Yes.
The waves will come, but then it always gets back to calm and neutral.
Yeah.
Yes, it will, won't it? And I go, what color is that? Orange. And what kind of thing? Oh, it's this reservoir that I grew up in the sunrise. And then it's like that. I go, that's right. And you didn't know that reservoir was going to be there? No. And you didn't know that feeling was going to come from just that reservoir, did you? No. I'm like, that's right. You didn't know your conscious mind, but now they can sit by the reservoir and they can sit and enjoy the feelings. Well, right. He's like, yeah. And, his voice goes down like this. He's like, yeah, right. I'm like, well, there you go. So enjoy that little bit. And it's nice to, and it's like, what difference is this going to make? Well, I think when I go to my thing, I'll be prepared, but he won't be over prepared because he was about to go over prepare. I go, you're already prepared, right? Be honest. He's like, yeah, I prepared just enough. I go, cool. So what do you think is going to help more? Accessing the resource that's going to help you use all that or over preparing some more? He's like, yeah. So just helping someone who's incredibly smart and motivated and knows their shit and wants them to take just to go, hang on. Shh. tell me more about that reservoir when you were a kid. You know what I mean? And like, oh yeah. And notice how your voice, isn't that neat? He's like, yeah. So this is basically a little sales consult.
Yeah.
He was already in it, but he's like, I need a little more time because I got to do this thing. Like, cool. Well, let me just give you a taste. So that was a little taste. And it tickles me so much to be able to honor someone's brilliance and also show them how smart they actually are.
Well, his brilliance or the kind of intelligences that he has strength in are a huge part of the problem. And that's exactly what you were shushing when you were like, that's not where you're going to find the answer. Let me show you something you don't already know.
Yeah, or something that you do already have.
Yeah.
I didn't give him the ability to do all this stuff. I didn't tell him how water works like that. That was really cool. I was like, neat. Didn't tell him about like all that stuff was already in him, which is really cool part. It's like, oh, what else is in me that I'm too smart to find right now? Or like, you know what I mean? Like
also the metaphor of a reservoir, as in like a reserve of some resource of some kind.
Right, a reservoir.
Exactly. That's
reservoir.
Yeah.
It's a reservoir. Resourceful. It's a resourceful war. We're going to change this to the Resourceful War podcast. So that was neat. It was a nice, fun little.
That's nice. I mean, so did he sign up?
He will. He also has a hardware issue that he says he has a hardware issue of some stuff that's going on that he's getting checked out. And I'm like, well, I'm not a doctor. You go do that. When you know it's a software issue, you come to me. I think he got a lot of, if I do this with my software, maybe, I can work with the hardware that I have, because you can make a lot of different squiggly changes in the noggin. But I'm not a doctor, and I would never say, don't go see a doctor. You just need to see me. So
right. And it's better to let them kind of run that out, like call the bluff on it. And because maybe there is something. And then if it isn't, then he'll come back much more.
And he said, look, and I put it in the terms of, if it's a hardware issue, go get it, buddy.
Right.
Do it. Because he takes good care of his body.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about no brains, man. I just know about minds. So anyways, it was a nice, quick way to also like go no.
Yeah.
I told him, look, this is a microcosm for the work we're going to do.
Yeah.
Put the little notes down. You can take notes later. I'll show you everything.
Yeah.
But I'm going to need you to go back to that place in your mind, right? And close your eyes.
And that's the from a sales perspective too. Yeah. That's where the sale happens. It doesn't happen. I
think that it probably did because I mean, for him, the pattern interrupt was also like, close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of the most like, the trance is normal. I don't sit on Zoom calls and close my eyes and
right.
So, but I do think it was hopefully good sales. He seemed like to have gotten it. I said, well, let me know how it goes today and whatever. And
that's a profound point that you make, which is I can't remember where I heard this before, but maybe it was Igor, that just sitting across from somebody with your eyes closed, listening to them talking is already so out of normal experience for most people that it's automatically going to feel like, people are always worried as hypnotists, like, are they going to feel that they're being hypnotized? Like, if you're honest with yourself, you're like, do they think they're being hypnotized? And if you trust that just this is weird enough already, that the door's wide open.
Right. Yeah. And if like I said, as I've learned before from my one resistant client lately, is like, as long as you're clear, like, I'm going to trust you to do the things and you're going to do things because you want to do the things, right? Cool. Then I have a feeling you're doing the things.
Yeah.
So but it's just a good, it's a good way to just, let anybody know that there's the other intelligence inside you that works. I told them, like, memory, metaphor, emotions, images, imagination. That's not your conscious mind, is it? No, but you feel better, don't you? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, when you're ready for more of this, I'm here for you.
Cool.
So that was fun.
My story is short. It was an insight that I had, a thing that I noticed that I thought was cool from an NLP perspective. So I've been telling stories somewhat regularly about this pretty extreme narcissist that I've been working with, that I've been making really good progress with, which is definitely the furthest on the spectrum not being a psychologist, so I'm not diagnosing them. I'm just saying, like, it's pretty obvious. And they're really genuinely making improvement. And it's very hard to take somebody from that far back. So one of the things that this client spontaneously said, I didn't bring this up. They said, I don't know what the fuck you're doing to me, but I've noticed that I've started actually listening to other people. And he's like, I didn't ever know this before, but up until recently, whenever I look out at other people, I don't see them as people. I see them as like a black shadow. And they're basically chess pieces. Like, what can I get out of this person? What do I need them for? They're all like toys that I'm playing with in this army that or this game that I'm playing. And he said, he's like, all of a sudden, I've started actually hearing people when they're talking to me. And this was the thing from an NLP perspective that I thought was interesting. He said, all of a sudden, people are now in color and like really clear, like I can actually see them. And I keep having these moments of going like, this is a real person. Like, and he's like, I hear your voice in my head being like, what use is yelling at them going to be? So just take a breath and consider their perspective. Maybe they have something to teach you, which is one of my favorite anti-narcissist quotes, is assume that everyone has something to teach you. And the crazy thing that I'll say is this client is listening. And that's rare for somebody at that who has that level of disconnect, like what I just described. But the thing that I was pointing out was just, it was a submodality shift that someone had the awareness to point out in themselves. I didn't do it.
Like I can actually see them.
Sorry. Posting your thing. Go ahead.
I lost my train of thought.
They were fucking. So sorry. There's a guy. It was really clear. You can hear them.
Oh, the submodality shift. Right. So the submodality shift happened spontaneously because we did other changes, and then he noticed the shift in his inner experience in terms of submodality, and I never made that happen. I didn't try to shift his submodalities, but it shifted nonetheless, and he noticed it as a reflection of the way he's changing his feelings about other people. And I mean, the work that I'm doing with him is just trauma release, reframing metaphors, just constantly reprogramming stuff, helping him to have a chance to actually express some of the deep traumas that he's gone through. And it works. It seems to work.
It works. I love it. Yeah. And even if it's just like little bits at a time, that worked. Yeah. Oh, cool. And then something else in the totally different area of my life worked. And then something I hadn't even thought about worked. And then you're like, work. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm open to things are working.
Yeah.
More than they're not working. And I know that I can make them work. So very cool, man.
Mm-hmm. So you got a quote?
I do. I'm almost done with The Count of Monte Cristo, which is a 52-hour book. And the quote itself, I'll maybe even do two, just because the first quote is, there are virtues which become crimes by exaggeration. Which is what we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
All the demons started out as angels, or all your bad habits started out as good habits.
Yeah. Well, and anything in excess becomes a problem.
Right. So, but there are virtues which become crimes by exaggeration, which I like. I loved her so much.
Right.
Which I just thought was neat and along the lines of the stuff that we talk about. And then just another one, if one's lot is to be cast among fools, it is necessary to study folly. Which is also kind of like, I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of people doing like the kind of podcast that I like to listen to who would resonate very much with that, like the Brett Weinsteins and Sam Harris's of the world that would be like, that's what I do.
Right. And to
I
me,
study folly.
even if, yeah, exactly. And whether it is or isn't, at least you're willing to go and learn it and say,
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by this. I better know what it's about.
Yeah, well, you and I were just talking about how I have this, I'm not much of a true crime person, but for some reason I got turned on to this YouTube channel, which is, what is it, JCS?
JCS Criminology.
Criminology. Yeah. So they show like breakdowns of actual interrogations of people who, most of them are guilty, and they're lying and trying to get out of it, and they're showing the interrogation tactics that they use, which is fascinating to me.
Very fascinating.
But there's something to me about it that the added bonus to me is getting to have a window into these kinds of real intense emotional experiences. Like, it's dark, but for really, it's, you're going to watch somebody realize that their life is over, and to see, oh, I made this mistake and it's now catching up with me. And there's something so eminently educational to me about watching someone in that and going, this is how someone really acts in this situation. This is not an actor trying to put on what they think someone would act like.
Regular dude who hadn't killed anybody 2 days ago, who just killed his wife and his daughters, is now sitting there trying to pretend like nothing's wrong.
It's crazy to go. Like, for me, they're very heavy, but there's something precious about this moment in time being captured on camera for me.
Appreciate police even more.
Yeah.
There's
and some of them are fucking idiots, by the way. And
well, then there was that one poor guy. There was the one black dude that they arrested, even though the suspect was white and short. He was a black guy. They just arrested him. Like, so it's like,
well, and the other dude in that same video who got sent away for 2 years wrongfully.
Right. Yeah. So
because the tactics were not being used.
So that also is So, but as far as going, like what I said about studying Folly, it's like.
That's what I meant.
To a friend, and she's like, "Oh, she's a colleague, a hypnotist." She goes, "Oh, you don't have a master's degree in criminology?" I was like, "What? That's amazing. You should talk to my friend." But again, if you want to catch criminals, study crime,
right? That's what when I think folly in a general sense, I look at a lot of those people and go, okay, how does this happen? Like, my mind extrapolates to how many mistakes had to be made, what choices, what patterns in your relationships and in your family, where did you not set boundaries, and that it kept going and kept going and kept going. Most people never get to obviously those extreme levels, but most people are on paths that if you followed them all the way to the end, they end up in really terrible places.
Yeah. I mean, Bill Hicks used to say, everybody's just like the wrong girlfriend away from living on the street or whatever. Like one job, one girlfriend, one bad night from just.
It's true. So all right. So
feel for me.
In the honor of Robert Anton Wilson, I found this quote. I don't know how to say this name. Andre Gide. Gide.
Probably Gide. Sounds French.
Yeah, Gide could be. Believe those who seek the truth, doubt those who find it.
Okay.
I liked that one. I thought from we worship at the altar of maybe.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. Where'd you get that?
What's that?
Where'd you find that?
It was in an email from Tim Ferriss. He often includes quotes, and this one, most of them are not relevant to the work we do here, but this one I felt like definitely hit home.
To the work we do here, man.
Well, there are a lot about, some of them are about psychedelics, which I guess that is
us. And what this conversation is about right now.
I like that. Believe those who seek the truth, doubt those who find it. Do you know about I think sometimes people attribute it to the Dunning-Kruger effect, but the more that someone knows, the less inclined to claim knowledge about things they don't actually know about that they become. And then the less someone knows about something, the more they tend to, or the less someone knows about things in general.
People think or pretend to be smarter than they are.
Right.
And I'm always like, the more you know, the less you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Uh, the true Tao, the Tao that can be written on a Facebook post is cringe or whatever that is. Like, those who know don't speak; those who speak don't know. It's all along those lines.
I guess in a sense, then the one sign of true, I guess, wisdom, maybe not intelligence, is humility.
Yeah,
because I think in the face of
maybe.
what, yeah, maybe.
I mean, again, it comes down to, yeah, sure, maybe. Yes, maybe. There has to be a humility or a, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That we're back to old what's his nuts Penn.
There's something so magical about, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to, and so many of the control freaks that we work with.
Yeah.
If they could just go, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Notice what happens when you just go, I don't know, maybe.
Exactly.
Like all the pressure of the fucking facade that you're holding up, the perfect thing, it just goes, and you can be in the moment. Like this guy who all he needed was the calm of the water that can react to whatever, but trust that it's going to find its thing. And then it's like, what is it? If that's not maybe, I don't know what is.
Yeah. The flip side of like, is this real? Like, is this, when you're doing this hypnosis, is it really working? And the correct response is, I don't know, maybe. Is it? You tell me.
Because I tell you, he said, a lot of the anxiety for a lot of the people is in their throat. And I've had other clients, male and female, who they start like this, and then all of a sudden we do something, and they're like, yeah, so I go, did it work? They're like, I think so. Like, why don't you check in with your throat? It worked. That's where it's real for them, because that's you're like, oh shit. And then because they're not in control of that, they're like, magic.
Yeah.
Himself. And then it's our job to go, no, you're magic. I just know how to,
the maybe thing opens so many doors for me, that in terms of paradox and the ability to go, well, I can just pretend like maybe it's true. Even things like people talk about in more out there NLP esoteric circles, they talk about like reality jumping. Have you heard about this?
Maybe.
So it's basically Rick and Morty, but for real. And the idea is like, you believe hard enough that you've slipped into a new reality.
It's basically the Berenstein Bears taken too far. The Mandela effect. You know what that is?
Yes.
It's like, was it Berenstein or Bernstein? I'm like, oh my God, we must be in the wrong reality.
Right.
I remember everyone was like, Trump, technically we're in the wrong fucking thing because Trump never won. And we're in the fucking hell realm of like...
So that's one of those ones that I love playing with in a maybe sense. Is like, well, maybe you're a different person today. Maybe you don't have all the limitations that you used to have yesterday. Maybe you are in a different reality.
Jacob's Ladder version of your own fucking hell, and you're just dying in a jungle in Vietnam. I don't know.
Maybe.
But if you could just be cool with that, and then at some point you have to trust yourself. So there's like maybe, and then I trust me though. Like that's me. It's like there has to be a thing that can say maybe.
Yeah. What else do you have?
If there's just a maybe who can say maybe, then there's and
thinking about life as if you were a vat in a jar is not a bad strategy from time to time, to go like, well, okay, if this was all a simulation, then what would I do? Like that's what you probably should be doing anyway.
Right. Either way, it's not going to last.
Exactly. All right, man. Well, that was short and sweet.
I think we had Sarah Louise popped in there for a second.
Oh, hello, Sarah.
I don't know if she's still on the line.
Long time.
But if she has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. And other than that, man. All right. Well, I don't think I've been watching anything else that was super interesting.
I've been watching those interrogation videos and
it's funny because you mentioned it. I was like, oh, it sounds so dark. And then somehow it came up on my thing. And maybe it's just because it's NLP-ish and it's psychology. It's like stuff. But also they're like, watch this.
Yeah.
We know you were talking about it. Just go ahead and watch it.
Oh man, I've had that happen on Facebook, the Amazon app multiple times, where I'm talking about something and then all of a sudden I look on the app and it's right there.
Right. That's why I talk a lot about lingerie.
Yeah.
So
just so it pops up.
Yeah. Hawaii. Yeah.
Just throw it in at random times.
Game the system, bro. All right. Well, is there anything else we got to say about stuff?
I don't think so. We both had short stories today.
Don't do crimes.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else interesting that happened. And dude, I've been working like a motherfucker, and I'm at this place right now where I am wondering if this is sustainable. Like I'm doing pretty well right now, and it's ramped up significantly in the last couple of months. And I'm trying to get used to it at this phase, and I'm trying to be honest with myself. Listen, when I say I'm working a lot, like I don't start work until noon.
You're working for you. That's like, dude,
yeah.
Explain that shit.
You know, like 4, sometimes 5 calls in a day is a lot of holding space and energy.
Yeah, exactly. When you're
so I'm figuring out if it's possible to maintain this, but honestly, I feel great. Like my life is better right now than it's ever been. Like I can say that hands down. Nice. And it's really exciting. There's so much good stuff going on.
No, me too. I was just telling my client when we got on the line, I was like, no, he's like, how are you doing? His old client, and he's on the East Coast. He's like, how are things going? I'm like, just waiting for California to fall into the ocean, wink, wink. But actually, I'm really, I'm healthy. I'm staying happy and healthy, and I'm working on staying positive, even though I wrote pissative by accident, which is a Freudian slip. But yeah, just working on things are good. I mean, shit's crazy, but we have the skills to help people. We have the ability to maybe our way in and out of the coming turmoil, and with a little forethought and using both of each of our brains, my conscious, unconscious, and let them both do the thing. I've spent a lot of time at night just actually practicing inward hallucination, and until I can see something that like a photorealistic face of somebody who wasn't there before, or an image of a landscape or a house or something. I'm just like, I know. And it's so weird when it's there, you're like, oh shit. Yeah. With voices too, where it's like, one time I was like, okay, stop. Because I'm like, how many voices could I hear? And then it's like, oh shit. Okay. No. Okay. Stop. Everybody cut. But, just been having fun using the tools that I have and deciding, the world is a fucking nut hole. But at the same time, there are people who are going to succeed in it, even though it is a nut hole. And I'm going to be one of them, as are you.
You worry about the nut hole a lot more than I do. I definitely see all the signs that you see. I really do. But I think about it, I think less, because I'm just like, it's either going to go fine or it's not.
I finally come to the point where whatever, I can't. World's been ending since I was born. So now I just know that because of all the turmoil, there's a lot of opportunities. And that's mostly what I'm focusing on now.
Yeah. Shit, what did you just say?
Nut hole. I believe I said nut.
No, the hallucination. Did you ever hear Mark Cunningham's trick about hallucinating a TV behind somebody? Where I'll share it so anybody who's listening. So you're staring at a person, and then over on your left side, over their right shoulder, just behind them, hallucinate, if you can do self-hypnosis that well, just a TV screen, and allow it to be a channel for communication from your unconscious. And you will be amazed at the things that pop up when you give your unconscious a way to communicate visually. So it'll be like a word or a picture or an image or a memory, but giving your unconscious, okay, when you have something to tell me, put it here. That simple act, and then engaging your creative imagination by hallucinating it. It's really, it borders on psychic. Where he
also used to like having pictures of videos of him having sex with the women that he was just meeting.
Well, that's Mark.
I was like, oh, I'll try that. But I like to leave yourself open for messages thing.
Yes. I wasn't
over your shoulder. We're looking at over my shoulder. Don't worry about it. Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna just keep it nice and light and useful and universal. I mean, the truth is, you can use the TV screen for all kinds of things.
Yes. All right. Well.
Okay.
Happy Wednesday, man. Kick butt and keep watching Children's Hospital.
Fabulous. It's awesome. I will.
It's so much better.
Peace, love, and NLP, everybody.
Dude.